So with the release of Zibai and Neuvillette in the same patch, my status as a returning free-to-play player is kind of jeopardized. But I have been wondering that as somebody who is just coming back, or let's say you are somebody who has just started out, which by the way, all the best, what do? Do you pull for either one of them? Do you actually make a different decision based on where you are currently standing in time, or is it just a definitive go for this as opposed to that? So I wanted to kind of dig deep, look at more characters, how these characters define the future of your gameplay, if you want to do endgame, if you actually just want to explore and clear some low level endgame stuff, so not immediately go to dire Stygian. And since I went into that digging deep, I want to share with you what I found as to who you should pull, Zibai, Neuvillette, or maybe Tsaritsa in the future. So for the sake of convenience, I think it's best that we divide ourselves into a few groups. And no, this is not a group project, but I'm talking about dividing ourselves in terms of how we play the game. First of all, and there is no question about it, if you like one character more than the other, so you want the huge thick Neuvillette beam, then you go for the Neuvillette beam. There's no doubt about it. But beyond it, I think the first player group that is very important here is the absolute newcomer. So you've just started out, the game is new to you, you have a lot of exploration to do, and you want to sort of min-max your way through to the mid-game, end-game content as well. Now, as a player who belongs to this group, I think it's sort of a no-brainer to go for Zibai, and the simple reason I'll give you is that with the Veresa banner as well, I noticed that there is a pattern where you get the 5-star, but as well as the 5-star, you get the best in slot 4 stars in a banner nowadays. Now this is a lot different from the Colombina Inefa patch, and the simple reason is you are getting 2 5-stars, yes, who are absolutely the best for each other, yes, but you have to pull in 2 different banners as opposed to just one here. It can be a C0 4-star team, yes, that is a possibility if you are just going for C0 Zibai, but I think starting out that's actually more than good enough. Now you'll not hit the thresholds for damage right about now, yes, but you know what, you get a Aino copy as well just by doing the Not Cry part. You will get a few more copies of Goro as you go along as well, since Goro has been out for a long time. And Yuga, while definitely the best in slot 4-star made for Zibai, I don't think you'll see a lot of difference, and yeah, the numbers show this as well. You won't see a lot of difference if you got a C0 as opposed to you got a C1, C2. Yeah, obviously at C6 you'll see a lot of difference, but you're not going for a C6 if you are just a newcomer. So in short, I think in this banner it would be absolutely the best thing to do to go for Zibai if you are pulling for somebody. And yeah, you see Neuvillette does keep coming back, right? And I don't know if he'll come back in future, but in terms of Neuvillette, the way I see him is less of somebody who needs a team and more of somebody who is like your long-term second team, but more on that later. As a free-to-play newcomer, I think that is pretty much what I would do if I was just starting out today. Now, I fall in this second category, admittedly, of players who, let's say, have been playing for a while and are now returning to the game. Now, I returned during the Colombina Inefa banner, and actually, to be fair, the banner before it, where we had Veresa and Gilonen. And for this group, for myself, I started thinking that, you know, does it make sense to pull Zibai to get another lunar team? And this is where the answer for me was pretty simple, right? Because I have Colombina Inefa, so the Binefa core, which essentially sort of wheelchairs a lot of older DPSs. Now, if you had any of these DPSs, let's say for a very simple example, you had Al-Haytham, you had somebody like Hu Tao from way back. Now they have become viable because of your Colombina Inefa and Sucrose core. Now, for the second team that you are building, let's say you're trying to do Spiral Abyss, obviously you're trying to clear 412, you're trying to move on to Stygian Onslaught's higher difficulty, so maybe looking at a third team. In these cases, I am not personally very excited about Zibai, and I'll tell you why. If you are returning, you have likely gotten a lot of supports along the way. You have pretty strong supports. Let's say you have Fischl C6, you have Bennett C6, you have Chevreuse maybe C6, and you have spent quite a lot of time building them. For me, this situation sort of became a question of, I have Gilonen, I have Durin now. And obviously, even though if I get Zibai, I'll get a lot of 4 stars, they do require building, they do require materials, while Neuvillette being Hydro becomes somebody who is not only viable with the supports I have built, but is also going to be probably pretty viable with the supports who come out later, because obviously they're going to belong to one of these, right? They're going to belong to either Electro, Pyro, and maybe another Hydro, maybe someone like Furina. And at that point, I would actually value that versatility a lot more. So yeah, maybe he's not the biggest hitting DPS at the moment. Honestly, I would much rather, again, have that versatility going forward, and with the new region coming out as well, maybe look at some freeze teams as well coming out. And from that perspective, for me, at this archetype, I would definitely pick Neuvillette as not the highest hitting DPS, but a very solid second team option. And again, I say second team with an asterisk here. It may just become your best team if you have, let's say, somebody like Colombina in FA core as your first team. This for now becomes your second team with maybe some upsides in the future. So while these sort of summarize the group discussions I wanted to talk about from a free-to-play perspective, I have been thinking more and more about what the future is, right? So we know that Lunar is something that is absolutely crazy right now, and with the new region coming out, I have a feeling that there will be new reactions. It only makes sense, and that might then become the DPS top tier highest damage. But as it stands today, if I really want to do the highest damage, the only answer for me is to keep pulling. But if I was somebody who is not trying to pull every patch, who is not trying to go for, let's say, the highest damage at all times, I think in these banners, it really becomes a question of, am I looking for a team from the banner, or am I looking for the poster character or the DPS, and I have pretty good supports? What we want is a versatile character, is somebody who remains viable in the future. And while the answer for most of these cases is that, yeah, take Neuvillette, build the best team you can around him and keep going, I think the only situation why Zibai makes a lot of sense to me, as we talked about sort of, is if you are trying to build a whole team today, or if you are actually trying to build a whole team because you have Colombina. If you have other thoughts though, if you can think of scenarios where Zibai makes more sense, or let's say Neuvillette makes more sense, definitely do share it. I do look forward to hearing from you, and I'll talk to you soon in another video. As for now, thank you for watching. I'll catch you in another one. Bye bye.